Good evening. It's bourbonblog.com live with Matty Rock, and I'm Tom Fischer, and we do this every Saturday. It's Cigar Saturday. This week we are very honored to have join us Kevin McCormack. He is an East Coast rep for Drew Estate Cigars, and there he is, right there, that way. Which territories do you cover, Kevin?
Covering New Jersey, Delaware, and Staten Island currently. Haven't been on the road in a while, as you noticed. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been with these guys since '03.
It's great to have you joining us. And as Matty's been telling me, you've been with Drew Estate for a number of years now, right?
Yeah, 17 years. Started in May of '03. And then when they moved down to Miami in 2005, I helped close down the Newark office and started back up with them in January of '06.
Wow. Congratulations. And thanks for all the great work you've done. 17 years. Because the brand's, how long has the brand been there? That's a good number.
If you're starting with La Vieja Habana, you're talking like end of '96, early '97. That was way before I was around. I was smoking much less expensive cigars at the time.
And that's how you, because you were a fan, that's sort of how you found the brand, huh?
Actually, no. It's a long story, but I'm sure you got some time.
Go ahead.
I was a tour manager for a band, several bands, but the last band I was with, we were in a car accident in September of '02. And basically, I was on my back for about 6 months. Had two not so great jobs with no benefits, both part-time, for about a month. And then I went into my lawyer's office, was handling the case, and said, look, I need a real full-time job. I'm an adult now. And here's my resume. If you don't even looking for a sales or marketing guy, let me know. So he goes, oh, well, were you looking in the city or North Jersey? I go, city or North Jersey, doesn't really matter. I was living in North Bergen at the time. So started working out there with them in May of '03. Actually, it's kind of a clever story, but I don't know how funny. When I first walked in, I was there before Marvin and Mike Salucci walked in. Those of you who know from back in the day, Marvin was John's partner who founded the company with him, and Mike Salucci was our director of sales at the time. So I came in. Larry, my lawyer, had told me not to tell them the truth that I was smoking Garcia Vegas and the like because they made premiums down in Nicaragua. So told them the truth. They both looked at each other like, well, we kind of need a guy. He does smoke some cigars. So they sent me home with a dozen cigars to smoke in 3 days and give a review of each. They handed me a cigar aficionado. They're just like, hey, listen, just first impression of the first third, second third, third third. Don't get into all the flowery language. We know you're not tasting anise and pepper and whatever else like that if you're a relatively inexperienced smoker. So basically went home with that, sent it all back in, didn't hear back from Marvin the first day. The next day he called me, he was like, hey, remember me? I was like, yeah, dude, we met like 5 days ago. Excellent. What's going on? He's like, if you can come in tomorrow, we have a second interview lined up. I was like, perfect. I got in there before him again. He's walking in with his breakfast. He goes, you're like habitually early. That's a good thing. Have a seat. We'll get back to you. So he comes out, sits me down. Mike was out of the office for some reason. He goes, so listen, we talked this over, and when can you start? I was like, now. It's like 10:03. Let's go. He goes, any sane person would have said tomorrow. I think you're going to work out great. So a couple years down the road, they're in Miami already, I think around April of '05. I get down there right after Memorial Day weekend, and 11 out of 15 weeks, I was down in Miami and didn't really dig it that much. So basically, Jonathan pulled me in when I was telling him that I was not going to be sticking around. He says, perfect role. What do you want? Put me on the outside. I don't think I'd enjoy living down here. I don't want to quit in 6 months or a year, and I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to have to move back to New York with my tail between my legs. So that was pretty much that. And I started on the outside in January of '06. So from then to now, I've covered 5 boroughs, Long Island, Lower New York State, up to Elmira and Poughkeepsie, New England for a time as a wholesale trainer, Then I covered another area, which was pretty much Southeast PA out to Happy Valley, and then all of Maryland, Delaware, and DC, and South Jersey. So it was cool. I mean, it's been a wild trip. I've met a lot of different people over the years, retailers, just smokers who hang out in different shops and lounges. And it's been a hell of a ride, man. I mean, the thing is, I was an occasional cigar smoker at the time. I'd probably smoked maybe 5 or 6 premiums before I worked for Drew. So, yeah, it's definitely been a crazy ride. I started out mostly with acids, La Vieja Habana, and naturals back then. Then started trying everyone else's brands just to see what's going on out there, get a little feel for what. I mean, it's not really competition. We jockey for shelf space. I'm friends with all the reps in the area. So it's just, it's different, man. I was a tour manager already, so I was used to the long drives, which wasn't a big deal. But now it's kind of like being on tour by yourself. You go to a hotel, and then you go see 4 or 5 accounts the following day, bounce to another hotel. And that's usually, well, before COVID, it was probably like 10, 11 nights a month. So it wasn't that much, but I'd previously been out as much as like 22 nights a month, which was kind of hectic.
Excellent. And again, Kevin McCormack of Drew Estate. Also, Matty Rock. What's happening, Matty?
Hey there, brothers.
Hey, brother. How are you? So, yeah. So, how long have you guys known each other?
Since 2012. Funny thing, we actually met, I remember, at, and this is a guy with a broken brain. I remember we met down in Atlantic City. JD had introduced me to Matty. I had only met Pete maybe 4 months prior at another event. He happened to be down there as well. I introduced Matty and Pete that night. But we had gotten rained out. We were actually doing a whiskey and cigar tasting on the pool deck at Caesars. And then once the torrents of rain came down, we had to relocate down to the bar. At the time, it was still all smoking, so it wasn't a big deal that we were all congregated. Probably about 30, 40 of us, would you say, Matty, that were left at that point?
Yeah,
I think
at least.
I think it was about 90 or 100 to begin with, and then I guess everyone else took their cigars and whatever little tasting bottles they had with them back to their rooms, and we just hung out down there for a while. That's how I met Matty, and there's some pictures that were just up recently on Facebook from that night.
Yep.
That's been a number of you guys. A lot of fun's been had since then, I'm sure. And again, for those of you just joining us, it's the Cigar Saturday hashtag Cigar Saturday. As you share this on your social media, like this, share this, ask any questions, give them shout outs. I'm sure a lot of those Drew Estate fans already know both of these gentlemen. Well, let's go around and say and talk about first of all what we're all smoking and drinking. And as 3 of us do that, tell us down below what you all are smoking and drinking. What do you got there, guys?
Go for it, I'm burning the original, the Dirty Rat. This came out back around 2010, I believe, for the first initial release. And I think around 2011, it started getting out to all the DDRP accounts. Now that we've got the Year of the Rat, which pretty much completes the family for now, unless down the road with all the different blends that are not produced currently from Drew Estate. Maybe there'll be another Rat down the road, but currently there are 4. Got the original Dirty, the Ratzilla, the Velvet Rat, and now the Year of the Rat, which was originally made for Florida Panthers for a lounge that we'd sponsored back, I believe, was it 2015 or 2014, something like that. It's a long time ago.
2014.
Excuse me. Wow. So, yeah, I pretty much got a couple sticks of it. I'd say around 15 or 16. And they were phenomenal. It's just basically a little bit of a thicker Dirty Rat with a broadleaf instead of the Habana Rapa. Excuse me, Rapa. You're going to hear a lot of dropped R's here and there. So,
Little Rapa. Hey, how you doing?
No, but not what the heck was it? I blurred through the joke, so I'll stop that.
And so again, that one was originally made for the Florida Panthers then.
Yeah, that was originally just for them, and then it became JD's event cigar. So if he was out at anything where it was a ticketed event, or whether it be hanging out in one of the lounges that we service, he would bring those as a little extra something. Basically, so many people come just to meet John because the story is amazing. I can't even do it justice because I was only around since 2003, but the fact that they'd started at the World Trade Center is QC Cigar Company, Queen's Council, for those of you who don't know. That might be a trivia question down the road, so you never know if you're listening right now. Queen's Council, not quality control, which is another word we use QC for. But Yeah, they had a kiosk in the World Trade Center Mall that was pretty much a cart that was humidified with a little old school phone in the in one of those little doors, kind of like a tabernacle for a phone. It was really fun. I only know that because I saw pictures around 03 or 04 of what the old cart looked like. So after a while, they had moved down to Vic Street, which was again before my time, 68J, which has an incredible view from the roof, and I'm sure the rent in that building now is astronomical because Dumbo is just on fire. Right. I can't move back to Brooklyn unless I win the lottery.
Now you're not a hipster, dude. It won't work.
Right? No, it's.
I can
not a hipster. It won't work.
It kind of gets scraggly with the grays. I don't use all.
I'll let you borrow the fedora. Maybe you'll get in.
I use conditioner about once a week to make it less unruly. But yeah, it's just down J Street, which is an amazing area. Now it's very art-oriented. A lot of sure hedge fund managers living down there now because you got an amazing view of the city. The funny thing is, living in Manhattan, even if you're on the water, you don't have as cool of a view as you do from, say, Edgewater or Brooklyn or Queens because you're seeing the Manhattan skyline. That's why those neighborhoods blew up pretty much like Williamsburg, the Heights, Carroll Gardens even. You could just walk right down to the water. So, yeah.
Even Red Hook, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Even Red Hook, yeah.
Yeah, Red Hook. Dude, I used to play high school rugby. Our home field was in Red Hook, and they were like literally broken bottles and stuff that we had to clean off the field before we started the game. So, it's been a big change since back then. That was, 1988? So, yeah, those of you who know how to count can figure out my age at this point now. I was a sophomore in high school.
No, that's great. No, I like all these Liga Bravadas. I'm actually doing, and again, tell us, Kevin, what are you sipping on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. A little bit of off-brand cola and Bullet Straight.
A little bit of Bull Bourbon. I'll tell you what I'm having first here is I'm starting off with a rum cocktail. I believe it is a that's my wife. It was either a penicillin. It was one of these that she made me. Made with some plantation rum, and then in a moment after I finish this cocktail, which is actually in a Kentucky Derby glass, closer and closer to Kentucky Derby, I just busted out some Bullet that I'm going to crack open and share with you there, Kevin, because I had some Bullet. Close.
There was no memo. There was no advertising. This just happened. So that's one of the cool things about these teleconferencing meetings that we're ending up on social media. It's every once in a while, like you just happen to be smoking the same thing. It's really cool. Yeah.
I was reading his bourbon mind. It's like a bourbon. That's like a bourbon radar. We'll call it Bourbon Dar is what I was doing. And I'm having the Year of the Rat, the latest Year of the Rat. And what are you trying there?
This
you know what? I decided to be not at all original, and I'm puffing away on the same thing that you two gents are. So great stick. Came back, gave you the background on it, so you got your nice broadleaf on there. Give a little bit of that natural sweetness with the Maduro, and I'm having my non-adult beverage of a Stewart's black cherry. So the little hints of the sweetness and the black cherry really make the wrapper on this pop.
Very nice, very nice. And again, tell us down below what you're drinking, what you're smoking, what you're trying. I see Chris watching. Vince is mentioning how much he likes the Dirty Rat as well. And Chris Duque, give a shout out, aloha my brothers. So thanks to everybody who's watching us. Ask any questions. I know we'll get some great stories about Matt and Kevin's journeys together here on our Bourbon Blog Live hashtag Cigar Saturday. And as you share this, again, use that hashtag Cigar Saturday. Matty and I have been doing this now for, I think, at least 4, maybe 5 months, almost really every Saturday. So it's exciting to have you on, Kevin. And this is a lot of fun. So what draws people into the Liga? Since we're talking about the Liga Bravadas, what draws people into that line?
Honestly, it's a little bit of the word of mouth out there from some more experienced smokers. I get a lot of questions from guys who are usually smoking Undercrowns or Herreras, Norteños, some Hoya Reds, Blacks, etc. Even guys that have had the Antaños before, and they're just like, "Hey, is Liga like off the charts strong?" I was like, "Well, no, it's more of a medium full by today's standards." Because I basically base super strong, super fuerte on like the Antaño lines. You got the Dark Corojo and the 1970, and then you've got like the LFDs out there from the Dominican. Those are like the super fuerte, extra hair on your chest kind of cigars. Liga is a little bit more refined. It does have that kick to it. A lot of people will tell you the T52 is stronger. For my palate, I actually get about the same strength, just a little bit more heat, a little bit more spice on the T52.
Right.
Basically, for me, when people ask me, do you like T52 or number 9 better? I say yes. I like them both. The thing is, my favorite happens to be the Dirty Rat, which I'm smoking right now. I actually have it under my skin since before I met Matty, 2012, when we were down in Nicaragua. Jesse was actually too busy. He had 6 people lined up over 2 nights to get tattoos. So little Marvin, who's still down at Subculture, was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll take care of you, no problem." He banged it out in literally half an hour. The lines are, the shading, I should say, is spectacular. There's not even a little bit of a rupture or anything of like little white spots coming through. It's just incredible. But yeah, that's how much I love the Dirty Rat. It's under my skin. So
it is really great. Yeah,
and I'll bet about 50 or 60 a year.
Yes. Oh wow. And this Year of the Rat, I love the spice on the Year of the Rat, the earthiness. It works so nicely with both the rum cocktail I have, which I was just reminded is a painkiller. I know there's so many great rum cocktails. This is a painkiller made with the cream of coconut, some nice pineapple juice, and this plantation rum. Lots of great things in that one. But this is really a nice compliment. The boldness of it, though it's bold, but it's not overly bold, right?
Very good. Yeah, I'm pretty much a novice with rums, pretty much a novice with single malts as well. I've gotten into bourbon much more since I started working at DE, as a matter of fact. For Secret Santa, my first year, Salucci got me, and he got me a bottle of Blanton. So, of course, he broke the $25 rule, but it was much appreciated. And started cracking that one open, got a little bit more into some other ones, Angel's Envy, Bullet, Woodford Reserve. So prior to that, I'd only really had Beam and Makers. So it was the stuff that I saw around at bars. And, being a tour manager for a band, you're driving a lot at night. So it's like you may be able to have a drink around 6, but you're not getting one around midnight because you're driving for the next 4 to 7 hours.
Right.
So, it was a little bit of a trade-off, but I didn't want to get pulled over. Didn't want to get in an accident. So that's pretty much, that dinner drink would be it. And then taking care of business for the rest of the night. I was basically a tour manager / merch guy / lighting guy for this band because we didn't have space in the van for too many people. We squeezed in 7 when we finally got a sound guy who was out with us for about 4 or 5 months before the accident. So it's crazy.
So were you a tour manager for a variety of brands? Bands, several bands?
Yeah, I did a lot of weekend gigs with a lot of friends' bands, but the bands I actually went on tour with were Marauder, who were from Brooklyn, Hatebreed, which was from up in Connecticut, and then Candiria, which were also from Brooklyn. They basically have been friends of mine since I was a teenager. Mike, the bass player, and I played in a band together. He played in another band with John, who was in Patterns at the time. They joined up on there. The rest of the guys from Candiria I knew from other bands before they came together. So, it was just kind of kismet. I had been in several bands. The last one that I actually did dates with where we played out was back in 95. So I started working as a tour manager at that point, full-time. Wow. But I've been going out since like 91. I had a driver's license. So friends were like, "Hey, listen, could you take the second leg? We're going up to Maine." "Yeah, sure. Let's go." "Can take the second leg. We're going to Boston." "Yeah, let's go." And I'd be gone for like 2 or 3 days. It's no big deal. Once I got out of high school, I just had that wanderlust to get around the country. I wanted to be on tour all the time, but things like college got in the way, and I had to finish that. But it took me quite a long time. I actually worked for 2 years in the record industry as well before Napster hit. So that's a story for another day. That's about 6 or 7 stories for another day.
You and Matty, you guys have done some travels together too with Drew Estate?
Short ones, Connecticut. Been out to PA together. I've never made it down to Tobaccology, unfortunately, down in Virginia. Correct, Matty? It was in West Virginia. I know you guys have been down for that big event they do every
Yep,
year.
our boys Brett and Bubba down there. Yep.
But I have been on a Zoom with them, so that's
Right.
not too bad. But not to besmirch what we're on right now. My apologies.
So what for you then? So in the last 5 months, obviously, you're probably missing, like a lot of us are, live music.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I have not been out very much at all. The last show I saw was in January. It was a Clash London Calling tribute show. So you had everyone from like Debbie Harry to what the heck? Oh, dude, that dude that wrote "I Fought the Law, but the Law Won." Oh, geez, my brain is shot. Yeah, John Jesse from Degeneration. I'm trying to think who else is there. Drew Stone from Antidote. I mean, like all these New York old school punkers and new wavers, and Paul Bearer from Sheer Terror. I mean, all kinds of people that I'd seen at different times that were just doing a tribute to the Clash, which was spectacular. And we were supposed to go see Ministry in July, but that didn't happen. They were playing up in what the hell, in Montclair at that big theater I can never remember the name of. But if you're not from around here, then you probably don't know. But if you do know the area, that's a place right off of Bloomfield Ave.
Right. So usually you would be out on the road, traveling, ambassadoring, talking to lounges and reps. What have you been spending your time doing in the last 5 months? What's been
mostly on the phone and teleconferencing. I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had probably half of my meetings for like our summer specials on Zoom. A lot of people had bad connections where like their Wi-Fi just wasn't up to snuff. So we'd get about 30 seconds into it, 2 minutes into it. Like, listen, I'm kind of stalling. So, like, all right, cool. You know what? I'll call you on the phone. Keep your camera on so I could show you all the new stuff and blah, blah. So I went through that and it was cool. We had a lot of events on virtually as well. I've probably been on 4 or 5 times as many events with other reps from DE as my own at this point, because sometimes it's 4 or 5 in a day.
Right. Yep. No, I feel you on that. Matty's back. Looking good, Matty.
Thank you, kind sir. It seems that AT&T is fighting with wireless because half the stuff up here has been down. So literally everything's fighting with each other. So my area, we just got power back. My parents just got power back today. So 2020 has been not much in the way of love.
Hey, yeah, if we're all going to lose electricity, let's make sure we're going to wait till after the show. So we're going to hopefully we'll all keep
righteous.
All stay on electricity and all. And again, everyone is when you're watching bourbonblog.com/live, and you can actually watch it directly from that link or on Twitter, on Facebook. Make sure you bookmark that link because we're going to have a whole calendar of what's to come in the weeks going forward. We're all trying some great beverages and some Liga Bravadas. We're enjoying these a lot. These are really good. What other? I mean, obviously you have so many. There's the fans of Drew Estate always mention their favorite ones down below. But what have you been lately getting the best response on the last few years as far as cigars? Wow. What have been some of your favorites? I mean, I know they're probably all your favorites in a lot of ways, but
probably biggest response from anything new has been Leather Rose, which is a new addition to the Deadwood crew. Basically, you had what they refer to adoringly as the 3 yummy bitches are now dealing with their long lost sister, Leather Rose, who's a bank robbing, spicy kind of chick. It's wild, dude. It's cool. The cool thing about it is it does have that same similar blend with the pipe tobacco and Nicaraguan long filler, but this one's got a little bit more spice to it. So a lot of people have been responding greatly to it. The biggest complaint I've had is I need more.
Right.
Okay. I thought my wife was calling.
So it's good. It's a good complaint.
Yeah, it's wild because it's actually, if you're into the older stuff like the natural line, which is now Laratan, it's got a similar thing going on to that, but kind of a twist. It's something that's infused with it that you can check out for yourself. If you like red wines, it goes well with that. It goes well with a couple of different spirits if you're looking to get into a nice aged rum or a nice aged bourbon. Can definitely get that going on as well. But there's like an undertone of a sangria type of thing going on. So It's really
Nice.
nice.
And again, that is called the Rose.
Leather Rose, yeah.
Leather Rose.
Leather Rose.
Leather Rose.
I have to stay within the zone of this little light because I'm, as you can see, my background's getting very dark now.
The mysterious disappearing McCormack.
What was really funny was on one of the teleconferences on another platform yesterday, I actually disappeared. My camera on my iPad was not working. So all you had was the fake backgrounds that I usually have in there. And like I'm the invisible man. I heard Jenny Lynn laughing. I was like, she can't see me either. Okay, she knows that I'm there, but let me just try to fix the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi cut me off, of course, and by the time I got back, I had a face again, which wasn't bad. But it's been wild. It's definitely cool because we get to stay in touch with everybody, and I've been in more places now that I haven't traveled to in 18 years than I have in the past 18 years, pretty much. It's really cool. I've been to a few different Cali events down in Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. So it's, Texas. I mean, I've been all over the place. The only one I haven't gotten in on was Randy, who's out in the Rocky Mountains. I tried to get into one of his and I had a bad signal, and then I got blocked out for some weird password thing. And I definitely got to get on one of Randy's in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's try to hit them all. Rex Snyder, who's one of our regional managers for the liquor chains, he actually thinks there's some kind of competition because he's on more than I am, but thinks that I'm on more than he is. So, but when you're a regional, you're going to be jumping on all the ones you can with all the people that work with you. So he's definitely pulled off more than me. I'm usually leaving voicemails for people around 5:30 and jumping on some late. So it is what it is.
The bullshit is 0 flyer miles. So what are you really winning now? You've been everywhere. No flyer miles, bro.
Yeah, it's all good though.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to be flying right now because I got to Italy for the first time last year.
Wow.
And the funny thing is we stayed in Florence. I don't know if you're familiar with this thing that's on Netflix right now called Home Game.
Okay.
It's a documentary. They have this thing that's kind of like a combination of soccer, rugby, and wrestling called Calcio Storico. It's basically 27 guys on a side, but it's like rugby, wrestling, and soccer. You have to like score a goal by getting it to the other side and like throwing it in. So it's kind of like a try in rugby where you have to put it down, but it's kind of like soccer because there's a goal, but it's like the width of the field. Well, we stayed in an apartment in Florence overlooking the piazza where that happens.
Oh, man.
Little did we know that it happened because we were there in August of last year. But if I can get there in June, sometime down the road, I'm definitely going to check it out. If we can get into that Piazza Santa Croce, excuse me, that would definitely be phenomenal to check out from the window because I don't think I want to be on the street. It's June. It's 90-plus degrees. I'd like to have a fan minimum if I'm going to be watching that game, if not air conditioning. But, yeah, it's really cool. That's if anyone's into Italian food that is thinking of where they want to travel to Europe after the ban is lifted, go to Italy. Definitely check out Italy. If you're going to be doing multiple stops, get to Florence, get to Rome. I have not been up to Venice, so I couldn't tell you anything about that. But two great cities to check out, and it's sad it took me into my 40s before I got there.
Yep, I love Italy. Did you get a leather jacket in Florence?
No, actually, I haven't had a leather jacket. How long haven't I had a leather jacket? About 15 years? Long time.
Been a while. Seems like it's kind of the thing a lot of people. I think I got one last time I was there, but I do like Florence a lot. Now, you're mentioning these Zoom calls. Have either of you been on any of these Zoom calls or these calls where, like, you were mentioning your story, but anything really crazy happening as far as people don't know they're live or something like that? I've seen this a few times.
No, I mean, we're pretty much professional. Anyone who's not wearing pants for a meeting is not going to stand up.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually had to keep myself sane by putting on a polo every day and feeling like I'm actually leaving the house for work, but I'm working from home that day.
Some great videos. I mean, all these Zoom meeting fail videos. I've YouTube these, and these are a lot of fun. Someone I know recently was on one where it wasn't me, but it was someone I know pretty well that was on one where they started talking about somebody else that was on the Zoom meeting, and they didn't realize they weren't on mute, and that was kind of funny to hear about. But sure this happens more and more.
New rules for 2020. Wearing pants. Remember where the mute button is. Back to wearing pants. Don't stand up if you're not wearing pants. Yeah, that's strong 2020 stuff.
I always try to make sure this side up looks good, but you know, I won't say there's a chance I'm wearing shorts, but I am wearing a bow tie. Hopefully that makes up for it. All right, question from Vince.
Vince, what up, baby?
What's happening, Vince? What do people learn towards spicy cigars or more just earthy tones? Have there been any trends towards palates? What are the trends towards palates that you all are both seeing for cigars, spicy tones, earthiness, trends in general? I think, you know.
I see it across the board, right, Kay?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much people are enjoying more cigars at this point because they have the luxury of working from home. If they are working, if you're unemployed at this moment, my apologies. It kind of sucks.
Right.
But I mean, working from home is definitely better than the latter. I would not want to be unemployed at the moment.
Right.
It's just a very stressful situation for a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much across the board. Like I said, I mean, one new thing that's been hot for us was Leather Rose. Another one was the new Sundog, Sun-Grown Dogma Dojo, which is coming out in September. Mad Dog's being re-released. That's the Maduro Dogma. I did not make these up. A couple guys in marketing just started calling me. I think it might have been Joey R., our in-house art director, who started it. But yeah, it's just it's been those, the Shady re-release. I'm trying to think, what else is there? Oh,
the new to-box. People have been digging the new size to-box.
And Shut the Box from Hoya. That was the biggest thing. We sold out of Shut the Box real quick. It's a game that's popular in the Midwest. I didn't really know of it until Cuenca decided to make it the actual box for Robusto Grande and the Grand Console. It's a limited release in the 1970 blend. But yeah, it's basically a game where you try to flip the tiles by rolling the dice that match up with it. And, you know, when you shut the box, you win. And a lot of people have been gambling on it. But that's been super hot. That was so hot we ran out of it before we even released it. So, yeah, that was just on fire. I mean, those of you who know Hoya know if you're looking for power, you're looking for a nice balanced strength, the Antonio 1970, Antonio Dark Corojo,
yes,
big hits.
Yes, and trends going forward. I mean, do you think what the last 5 months and potentially the next several for people enjoying being able to try more and more things at home, having more time maybe to have a cigar while they're working, do you think that's going to shape palates or trends at all?
It's possible. Basically, what I've been noticing is as stores started to open for more than just curbside or doorside, whatever, delivery, they've definitely had a lot more people coming in. They're running out of stuff faster. So the great thing is not everyone's gone online. It's cool, you know, if you're in the middle of the sticks and you have to go online, it's great convenience. But if you've got a local store, hey, they're struggling too, look out for them. Go check them out, say hi, check how they're doing. Hopefully everyone makes it through this unscathed, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't like wearing masks. I'm not going to politicize this. Wear a mask. I've got a wife who has Lyme disease. My mom has COPD. I wear a mask because if I happen to be one of those asymptomatic carriers, I don't want to get anyone sick. And I've been very careful. I use hand sanitizer or like a wet wipe that's 99% kills 99% of the germs and blah, blah, blah. Before and after, wear the mask. Used to wear gloves on a one-shot deal, but a couple of medical professional friends of mine are like, yeah, don't even bother with the gloves. You're actually scaring people who think you're carrying germs. So no problem, done. Wash your hands more often. I remember back in March, my hands were like shoe leather, like not properly processed shoe leather, not the final product. So yeah, it was. It's been a wild ride, and I really hope that you know, sooner than later we can approach zero, and things will get closer to what normal was, what we thought it was. Right now, there's the new abnormal. There's nothing normal about what's going on. We're pretty much in a situation that we were warned about. Italy told us, hey, listen, this is going to be you in 6 to 7 weeks. So stay home, wear a mask if you have to go out. Just be careful.
Right. So I moved. I'm still sipping my cocktail some, Kevin and Matty, but I did move on to the Bullet and what you're having there. How is that coming together? How are those flavors coming together with your Bullet and with your Dirty Red?
I get a little hint of like almost a spicy tone on the finish of the Bullet, which works amazingly well with the Dirty Rat, which is more of a medium, as opposed to the Year of the Rat, which is medium to medium plus, only because there's a little bit more tobacco in it for my palate. It is a little bit of a smoother draw, being that it's a broadleaf as opposed to the Habano. Let me get a little bit closer. I'm going to lean in like
we'll all get in close here.
Hey, if it makes you better, when the storm came back, I have a whole bunch of LED lanterns I could send you guys, so they'll always be light.
Well, that's actually what I'm using. I had picked up this little ring light because I noticed that the overhead one wasn't that good, and I was kind of like the shadow. You just see like a little outline of my nose or something like that in the darkness. So, I might have to step it up with another one after this because, as you can see, I'm kind of...
You don't want to be starring K-Mac in The Ring Part 3? Yeah, start freaking people out on those Zoom calls.
Just hang back here, and I'm Charlie from Charlie's Angels. You can never see my face.
Perfecto.
No, I
hey,
like
Tom,
it. Go ahead.
For the new people who haven't been on, Tom, I just want to let everybody know what Tom's been doing for, almost the better part of 2 decades with the bourbon and the spirits and the education part. Now, Tom's stuck at home just like the rest of us. But that doesn't prohibit Tom from doing online seminars and everything. So I want to pass the ball over to you, Tom. So anybody who's a new viewer knows exactly how they can get in touch with you and how they can put together a tailored event for them.
Thank you so much, Matty. Appreciate it. And it's so great to have everybody watching. And we do these almost every night as far as Bourbon Blog Lives. But if you want to do something more private and personal, I do host some really spectacular private virtual tastings at making them fun. Everything from helping you get the whiskeys, maybe even the cigars too, walking you through tasting notes using flavor wheels. And if you want to learn more about that, drop me a line at tom@bourbonblog.com. Whether it's, whether you're a couple or whether you're a business with 30 or 40 or more, the cool thing is we're doing a lot of them for breakout sessions for conferences. So if you're thinking about a conference or an online Zoom call, hey, just, it's a good excuse to tell your boss or coworkers, hey, let's have some whiskey as we do this. So, we can help you with those excuses and make them fun for your virtual meeting. So just drop me a line, or even if you just want to talk about bourbon, drop me a line at tom@bourbonblog.com. And thanks, Matty. Matty and I have a fun time every Saturday. And Kevin, it's great to have you. We're going to have you for a little longer here if anybody has any questions. I think we have a few more coming in. Matty, I'm trying to remember, who's our guest next week?
Our guest next week is famous artist Chris Work, Mr. Robots Will Kill. So anybody who's familiarize yourself with next week. Go check out Robots Will Kill and Chris Art WK. Beforehand, any of the art installations outside of the World Trade Center. He's done numerous art shows throughout the United States of America. Really, really cool stuff. Anybody who's into art, very, very well known. Really cool stuff, and the best part, just one hell of a human being. Great guy. So he's going to be a fun guy to talk to. I'll let you know how he got into the industry and art and how that plays into everything that he does. So we'll definitely have a good time with that. And K-Mac, while we got you on, so anybody who's listening that hasn't gotten to talk to K-Mac before, anybody who's my Jersey peeps or my Delaware peeps or Staten Island, if you're looking for the Drew Estate line, you're looking to get more information, drop K-Mac a line. Okay, he's going to give you where you can find him on Facebook and Instagram and such. And if you're unable to get those sticks, or you'd like your shops to have a stick, or if you are a shop that's looking to carry Drew Estate, K-Mac, he'll make sure you're able. He'll get you into the shops. He'll help you if you're a store owner. He'll help you put together some orders and stuff in there. Okay, let them know how they could reach you, and let them know a little bit more about the lines. When you think Drew Estate, it's actually quite a robust series of different lines for all tastes. So take it from there, okay?
Cool. Well, basically, for Facebook, it'd be capital D, capital E, Kevin McCormack, as you can see red on the screen right there. And then under Instagram, it would be at Drew Estate, singular. That's DREWESTATEKMACK. So it's really easy. I don't use Twitter, my apologies, and I don't use Facebook Messenger. So if you want to DM me, you have to go to Instagram. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. If it's Monday to Friday between 9 and 7, I may be a little bit busy and getting back to you later in the day. So not blowing you off. I'm just working.
That's all right. And then on Instagram, it's just the at Drew Estate.
On Instagram, it's at Drew Estate KMac.
KMac. Okay,
Yeah.
KMac. All right. I want to make sure
All one word, no underscore or anything.
I am going to see if we can pop that up there and ignore the thing after the KMac. But Drew Estate on Instagram, look him up on Facebook, K.E. Kevin McCormack, and
D.E. Kevin McCormack. Sorry.
Oh, what's it? K.
D.E. like Drew Estate.
Oh, D.E. Oh, oops.
Yeah, no problem. It's all good.
Make sure you do D.E.
K.E. Kevin McCormack could be a totally different guy, or he may not exist.
It might be. Let's see who that guy is if he's around. Okay, here we go. Let's make that a little better. And again, ignore
there you
that.
go. No worries. It's all good.
I just looked. The other guy has an alpaca farm. So.
Alpaca farm. Now that's something interesting. I remember back in the 90s, on the road about 6 or 7 times, we actually encountered alpaca trailers, like horse trailers, but there were alpacas in them. This was like Oklahoma, Kansas area. At least 6 or 7 times we came across that in the same hotel that we were staying. So I guess it was big. I mean, I don't know. I guess their fur kind of makes clothes or something. I'm not really too positive on that, but I did see alpaca farmers in the 90s. Don't know if it's a big thing now or what, but.
Well, we just gave the alpaca industry a good plug too. So
we did. We're going to
alpaca industry. There we go.
We are.
Alpaca industry. Give me free stuff.
Yep. You're going to wind up with 3 alpacas in your house. Okay.
I can't fit
He's going to be pissed, bro.
I'll take a nice vest, like Burns' vest.
Question from Kevin from Chris Duquet, and thanks for watching, Chris. Any updates on a virtual barn smoker?
Yes, it's going to be in November. I believe it's the 14th. Joe Groh is the one to ask on that, or Gary Fleeterer. Those are the guys that are pretty much up on that. Jack Heyer might be a good guy to ask on that too, but I believe Gary was the kingpin for all of the barn smokers at this point. So those 2 guys would be the best to get any info from. So if you see him jump on a Zoom call you have to be on, Chris, send him a direct message. Like, hey, listen, send me an email. What's going on? I think it's November 14th, but I have to check the exact date.
I think you're correct. And plus, anybody out there on Facebook, you could jump on the Drew Estate group page on Facebook too. They'll be posting updates and such there as well. So I believe Kay is right, but in case we're both wrong and have a little brain damage, definitely hit up that site.
So that
came from an accident, so it's all good.
That virtual barn smoker, what will that look like? What kind of what will that be? What will that look like?
Well, I do know that they will be shooting some live footage from Clearwater, I believe, is where the farm is in Florida. Is that correct, Matty? You've been down there,
yeah.
correct?
Okay. Yeah, right outside is Jeff's farm. So you remember? Yeah.
I've only been to one of the Coronas in Orlando, and that was when we had the party there in the tent in 2012.
Yep. And that's when you're smoking those FSGs, Tom. Yeah. That's exactly whose farm we're talking about. So that's Jeff's farm. Yeah, that's Jeff's farm out there. So whenever you hear anybody refer to the Florida barn smoker, that's actually his farm, and smoking where that Florida tobacco came from.
But no, I love those FFGs. Those are incredible. And as you were just saying, Matty, the whole Drew Estate line. There's so many different flavor profiles that you all are able to really showcase in those. I mean, there's such a vast number of flavor profiles. There's something for everybody.
Well, definitely. I mean, just looking back to our oldest brand that's still in production, which is the original Acid. Basically, that's something a lot of new smokers and seasoned smokers try for a change of pace. Basically, they're mostly mild to medium, except for a couple that are more on the medium to medium full, like the Nasty and the Fasto. But for new smokers, I see a lot of people going for Acid. Tobacco Special, of course. The new Lonsdale has been a big hit. Let me see. Get the La Rotan. And then, the milder stuff that we have in traditional as well, like the Undercrown Shade and the Cabinetta from Hoya. Those are big for the starters. And then, experienced smokers have been smoking 5, 10, 15 plus years. They pretty much are all over the map. And I do see a lot of people that are huge Undercrown fans and have a Liga on the weekend because it's, a few bucks more. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I've seen a lot more going towards the Herreras as well. The Brazilian Maduro has just been on fire.
Yes.
That's been huge. Norteño, of course, is an old standard, as well as the Herrera Habano. The Miami is very limited, so that's in high demand all the time, and hopefully getting another shipment of everything in soon because I'm sure they've been dwindling. But that's all made down in Calle Ocho at the old, Willie's old place. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry.
Teton LeBron's, yep.
Sorry, I'm choking. Teton de Bronze. Sorry about that.
No,
but
no choking, man.
Yeah, no choking. Not a good thing to be doing on screen, but this is live, and
put on your belt.
So the funniest thing about this is in college, I was actually on the other side of the camera. So even when we were like doing our little news things and whatever that we had to do for classes, I'd be the cameraman. I was rarely on screen. I think I was on screen for like 2 short films where I was actually the murderer, the slasher in 2 different films of classmates of mine, and cameraman on half the rest of the flick. So, it's
now you just gave me something fun to talk about, K-Mac. Why don't you tell everybody what HBO series they could spot you on?
Okay. Well, I was also a movie extra in my former life. I worked on Oz, the prison flick, prison show on HBO for better part of the entire series. First season, I only was in episodes 7 and 8. I was in the entire second season, the entire third season. Fourth season, I think I was in 7 or 8 out of 16 because I was on tour for a portion of it. And then the fifth season, I think I was only on 5 or 6 episodes. But again, I was on tour. So one of the funniest things that happened was I got a call once that they needed me to fly back from LA. They thought I was actually working on a series or a movie or something. I was like, no, I'm actually outside the Key Club on Hollywood Boulevard. If you guys want me to come, you have to fly me back because I'm broke. I don't have money for a ticket, about $700 one way. So seriously, if you really want me back, it's like upending a lot of stuff. So you got to pick it up. So it wasn't in the cards. And when I did get back, they were happy to have me again, which was great. I'll tell you, one of the greatest things about working on that show was all the stars and like people who were on the come up then that are now just huge, like J.K. Simmons. Totally cool people. I mean, everyone checked their ego at the door. There was no bullshit ever. There was no nonsense with directors and first AD or anything else like that. No one was playing, the ego role. Everyone just worked so well together as an ensemble. It was like Voltron coming together. So it was great. I had an awesome time hanging with all those guys. I mean, everyone from JK to Chuck Zito to just salt of the earth people. Voltron.
Now that you say that, now that you had to say, hey, Mac, see, other people learn to speak Portuguese. What did I do? I bought the giant Voltron so I could build it. So some people learned important things. I created Voltron. So just saying.
So anyway, getting back to Oz, what you'll see me most featured in is a couple of scenes. When they have the boxing tournament, for those of you familiar with it, I'm one of the Aryan brothers, and I'm the corner man for the guy who's getting his ass handed to him. Then there was another time we crucified a pedophile priest.
Oh, wow.
Oddly enough, we did it on Good Friday. We shot it on Good Friday. I told JK after we done, he goes, that's kind of dark, man. So, it's like, I didn't write the script and I didn't put this shooting script together. So yeah, it was just a great time. I worked on that. First thing I worked on was Howard Stern's Private Parts. I was an extra in the crowd at Bryant Park when AC/DC was playing You Shook Me All Night Long as his movie wife goes into labor. Worked on Sex and the City, The Sopranos. Sopranos was only a one shot. If you remember the episode first season when Tony takes Meadow to check out the college, I walk past him while he's on the payphone back when cell phones was still coming up as a regular thing, and Yeah, it was really weird. I walked past them, and because there was some feeder cable running out, like that's the high voltage stuff, the 240, was running out the door. I just had to go behind a wall and wait till the scene was done. Now he exits the same door, so I look up at Gandolfini and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "Holy shit, why are you standing there? I thought I was getting whacked for real." I go, "Dude, you're very into your character." So we bullshitted for a minute. Really nice guy, and I told him, he's like, "Yeah, I saw you in what was it the one with Christian Slater and Rosanna Arquette, True Romance."
Oh, right.
I'd seen in the hotel was pretty out there. He goes, "I had to go to a really dark place to get there." So he was a consummate actor, really good guy, and it was cool to see that he got something as big as Sopranos after being a character actor for several years. Just really good people. Trying to think, what the hell else did I work on? Oh, The Siege. Wow. That was a great flick. Okay, I did not meet Bruce Willis, but I did meet. Oh, now my name's escaping me. I'm gonna kill him. Oh boy.
That wasn't the one with Colin Farrell, was it?
No, not Colin Farrell. What the hell is this? I totally lost it. I'm sorry. I'll double back to it. But jeez, Denzel Washington. My apologies.
Oh wow.
So yeah, basically we saw this stunt happen where they rolled a truck. And I go, wow, that was a great stunt. And Denzel's like 3 feet away. He goes, yeah, they did that one great. I go, look, oh, Mr. Washington, nice to meet you, blah, blah, whatever. He goes, you in SAG? I go, no. He goes, I could tell. So that was that. But I was just like, I was more into the whole science of making movies, the actual shooting of them. So, I was trying to get a gig as a cameraman in New York and ended up working on a lot of different productions as an extra.
Incredible. So, the Sopranos episode? Do you know what episode that was, or what season?
It's season 1. I forget if it was episode 3 or 2. I have to go back. I don't have the DVDs anymore. I lost them in Sandy. So, yeah, that's a bit of a drawback. I can't go look at it. I have to probably go thumb through YouTube and catch a clip. But yeah, we'll see down the road if someone comes across it. Just hit me with an Instagram message and I'll repost it.
Very nice, very nice. Well, it's great to have you, Kevin, and it's exciting. Thank you for all the work you're doing in the world of cigars for Drew Estate and just for the world of cigars. It's means a lot. I know to myself and Matty and everyone watching. As far as how one of the questions, I think someone asked something similar down below. With regard to whiskey and how we plan out whiskey as far as planning, how long to age something and how much stock will eventually be needed. Sales of whiskey continue to go up. Looking at, as the one gentleman was asking, flavor profiles, palates. How does a cigar company go about predicting the future? From the time of inception for a new product to how long that tobacco needs to be aged to what they're predicting the demand will be. It's something along the same lines of what we do with whiskey, but speak to that a little bit.
Well, that's a great question for someone in production, which I'm not, unfortunately, but I can tell you that certain tobaccos are, ready in about 6 to 9 months after fermentation.
Right.
Others we're waiting over 2 years. So it depends. I mean, like the wrapper leaves on the number 9 and the 52, they're a nuisance how long they take, but, the result is spectacular. So it's worth the wait. And we definitely don't want to deal with anything that's not fully ready to go to the market because it's just not going to burn right.
We definitely don't want to rush it. We don't want to rush it, and I appreciate that so much on how the similarities between whiskey and other brown spirits, the time it takes. So every time you take a sip of this whiskey or you try that tobacco, so many hands were on this. So much went into this, and that bullet you picked out. This is tasting so nice. With as I go along the Year of the Rat, to me the bullet always has had. Just a little bit of cherry pipe tobacco in bullet, nice sweeter flavors.
Oh, okay.
Go against the, I think that really complement cigars, especially a spicier one like the Year of the Rat, very nicely. So the more this cigar opens up, this is a great pairing. You helped me pick out a nice pairing for this one.
That just shows how subjective palates are because you get that hint. Well, you definitely got a more graduated palate than I do when it comes to spirits because you've been doing this for so long. I mean, I'm literally, maybe 3 or 4 drink a week guy before COVID. Started drinking heavy in May, and then I realized, hey, this isn't going to end anytime soon. So we got to get back to semi-normal. But yeah, I was probably 2 or 3 a day back in May, and then Memorial Day weekend came around. I was like, yeah, I'm going to take a day off. But
yeah, 3 months you've been talking like Bart from The Simpsons.
Well,
Everybody,
Barney Gumble. But it's just you appreciate things better in moderation.
Right,
That's
of course.
what I've found. I mean, I pretty much have been smoking like 2 cigars for every 3 events if I'm doing them back to back on Zoom. On my own events, it's pretty much 1 while I'm doing whatever we do. I mean, we pretty much, it's kind of not even really an interview format. It's an event. So, you go back to the retailer, they let you know what the deals are, what's left. And when we're lucky enough to have an ambassador like Willie or Pedro or Juan or JD, it's great because, I mean, they carry the entire thing because people want to know from them. They don't get to see them as often as they do the reps. So it's definitely a little bit weird, but we've been getting by. So, I mean, luckily I've been healthy. My cousin was sick for 23 days with COVID, but he's a machine.
Oh,
Dude's
man.
45 years old, runs his own business, also has another gig on the side. And, he made it 23 days and didn't even go on a ventilator, thank goodness. He got oxygen, and they sent him home. And it's like, look, you're going to quarantine until this is over. And if you need to get back to us, get right back to the hospital, call an ambulance, do what you got to do. So he's a monster. He's on fire, man. He's just my idol. He's younger than I am, 2 years younger than my cousin that I grew up with. But yeah, he's just hardcore.
Wow, glad he's doing better. That's good. That's so important. And we encourage everybody to stay safe, stay well. Certainly, doing things like this are fun. Virtual tastings, whether it's cigars, whiskeys, whatever it may be, and the more I've taken a look at flavor wheels of cigars, actually looking at the tasting wheels that are created for cigars, and also overlapped those with whiskeys. So many similarities. So what I've continued to encourage people to do is take a whiskey, take a cigar. There's no right. There may be a right answer, but there's no wrong real answer or challenge. Start trying and start seeing where the similarities are. Start seeing if you like a complementary pairing better, something that's more contrasting. I think this all the ligas have tasted so nicely with all the whiskey drinks and cocktails we've done, and a real pleasure to be tasting these with both of you all tonight. It's really a pleasure, Kevin and Matty.
Thank you. Well, really, the greatest thing about it is the way that it came about. When they first started blending it, because we had some Connecticut broadleaf and some Connecticut Habano. There were 9 blends originally made. The number 9 was Liga number 9. T52 was a different tobacco varietal that was in there, used as a wrapper, and basically all 9 were great. And that's something very, very odd. That's kind of like we did a seance to get the cigar god to smile upon us. And I don't even know that all of them have been out. I've had the number 4, which was the JD4, then the MF4, and now UF4.
Up in Chicagoland, yep.
One of the funniest things, when I had the number 5, it was only about 2 years old at the time. And I was picking up Marvin from the airport that next day. So he's like, so what are you smoking? I go, I'm smoking the number 5. He goes, dude, don't smoke that. It's not ready. I go, not ready? Dude, it's phenomenal. He goes, I can't believe you're driving and smoking it. I go, did you almost pass out? He goes, it was strong. I go, I'm sure it was strong, but it's had a little bit of age. It's fine. It was just incredible how something that he had when it was raw, I had a little while later. This is back, Matty, you remember when they were all handwritten with ink as opposed to type of bands.
Sure, man. And one of my favorites you don't see, the L40s.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember all the handwritten L40s, Tom. That's one that I got to get out for you.
Wow.
As you know, I'm a thinner ring gauge dude, and I like Lanceros. So, yeah, I remember my first batch of L40s were handwritten L40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I only got one of those.
Wow. Those are actually handwritten.
Yeah, it was just handwritten with a pen. So
Yep.
I mean,
and then the upgrade to that one was with a typewriter. It got a little fancier until you got to the actual label. Then you got the L40 typewriter version. You're like, all right, we're Macking now, kids.
I thought you had handwritten all these, Matty. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you had.
Oh God, no! I write like a 3-year-old, so you wouldn't be able to read anything. It'd be like when I can't even draw a stick figure with any level of accuracy. Like, what's that? Like a stick figure? Like, dude, that sucks. It's just terrible. I'm like, yeah. But
right, another good question from Vince of Atlantic City.
Vince, what up, baby?
Vince, so as things are changing, more boutique manufacturers are making a run in the marketplace. Do you think that more of those are going to be making a run? Just thoughts and effects in general for COVID on the entire cigar community.
Well, we really don't know what's up with FDA, and I'm really hoping that we're spared and it's not devastating to the boutique brands out there, because if they're really talking about exponentially high fees for releasing a new blend, it's
15 grand
it's gonna hurt. 15 grand is reasonable. I'd heard as high as 100,000, 200,000.
Yeah,
that
would be the line. Yeah,
that's just crippling.
Yeah, imagine per SKU. So just having 3 sizes, just trying to make 3 sizes in one cigar. Imagine upwards of $50,000. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it gets out of control. So I'm hoping that.
Explain that a little bit for people that don't know, just because that is a pretty big number.
Well, FDA wants to institute a fee for releasing new cigars, for releasing new blends, I should say. That's something better to be taken up with legal, because they know a lot more than I do about it, but they could actually probably give you a more reasonable estimate of what it will be down the road as well. I mean, basically the whole substantial equivalency thing, et cetera, there's tons that has been written on it that I can't add more to, because I'm not that guy. I'm not in production and I'm not in legal. So I wish I had a better answer for you, but yeah, I mean, as
it's a big ass document like this.
We're really hoping that they do realize that minors aren't smoking premium cigars. So I mean, it's just something asinine to just levy a heavy fee on an industry that there are a lot of mom and pops out there. There are a lot of boutique brands out there. We started out as a boutique, and we're still a boutique in mindset, but we're significantly bigger after the purchase by Swisher. So the greatest thing about that has been they didn't fix or try to fix what wasn't broken, and I think it's paid off really well for both sides. Because if another premium manufacturer had bought us out, I might have had to move to Miami or be looking for a new gig. And I love it here. I've been here a long ass time, man.
No, I think that's important for people to know. And again, that would be that fee would be for it, whether it's mom or pop or bigger brand, anybody would have to pay that fee, right?
Yeah. Again, we don't know exactly what the fee is. So let's hope that down the road there's, an agreeable what's the word I'm looking for? Not even consensus, but just let's hope that cooler heads prevail and they do come up with something that's reasonable if there is going to be something levied on us. Because
and this is being lobbied, Tom. There are lobbyists, so we have there are people in Washington D.C. right now lobbying on behalf of the tobacco industry. So it's been an ongoing war. I know there's some documents I could send you if people ask me. I'm sure I could dig them up. They're public documents.
Well, you can put it this way. Basically, we have an immigration issue in the country already. If you put the better part of an entire industry out of business, you're going to have people that'll walk their way from Nicaragua, from Honduras, whatever, to try to get to the U.S. to just feed their family. And it's not a good situation, but like I said, let's hope the cooler heads prevail and that it's something reasonable if it does go through.
I agree, and again, we never want to get really political, but as we are looking towards a voting season, and just for all the cigar fans watching, this is something that as you all are thinking about and contacting your representative, keep this in mind, and we'll certainly continue to pass along this kind of information that I think is so important, that affects the farmers, the brands, the consumers on all levels. It's so important that we keep that in mind. So thank you, gentlemen, for sharing that.
Yeah, you ask anyone who's been around since the boom, if it was better then or now. They'll tell you now because there's so much great tobacco being cultivated in so many countries. That, I mean, we use stuff from all around the world. We're actually the biggest importer of tobacco into Nicaragua at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, we've got stuff coming from Cameroon. Well, that's not being produced at the moment except for on the Acid One. And, well, we've also got another New York accent one that's got that as well. But we'll talk about that at another time. The New York accent is pretty damn good. But
the New York, say that again?
The New York accent. We have a little subculture type thing from Acid that's
that's going to be coming soon.
Really on point. J Street Posse, yeah, that's already out. That's been out for a while. That's only available at select shops in the New York metro area. So yeah,
like the Tri-Borough, another stick like the Tri-Borough. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tri-Borough is only available through a wholesaler out on Long Island. That's not something we sell directly, but yeah, definitely a smart move. Tri-Borough Bridge, which is now the RFK, but no, they're not going to change the name. But yeah, you know, it's a cool situation. I mean, the greatest thing about being with DE is we have really small runs, and then we have these gigantic juggernauts like Cuba Cuba that are just everywhere. So it's really it's an odd thing, and it's a great company to work for. It's there's so much difference out there in the way people get their cigars, the way people get into cigars. I mean, a lot of times you'll have guys like 22, 23, maybe it's a second or third event, shows up with his dad or his uncle or whoever it might be. And then on the flip side, I've met guys in their 20s and 30s that got their dads into the cigars when they were in their 50s and 60s. So, you know, it's just it's an amazing thing. The camaraderie at events is hilarious. And pretty much, if you know the area, if you don't break balls, you're really not going to last very long. So it's cool. I mean, it's always.
That's what we get Sanj for.
Yeah, Sanj's episode was great. I mean, basically, at Sanj's place, you show up for the cigars being at MSRP, and you hang around for the abuse. It's spectacular. And if Sanj doesn't rip on you, he doesn't know you or trust you well enough to be ripping on you.
Yeah. If you're ever feeling this high about yourself and you need to be put back on its place, visit Sanj. You'll be humbled. Humbled, right, Sanj? I know you're hearing me, Sanj.
Sanj likes to tune in. We always enjoy his comments. Well, after you said 17 years, right, Kevin? 17 years you've been doing this.
17 years back in May.
What's been your favorite part just about watching both, Drew Estate grow and also watching the business of cigars grow?
Wow, that's a good one. Business of cigars has gone through a lot of different trends. I mean, you had a couple of magazines trying to make Lancero the new Robusto, when really only the hardcore cigar geeks are going to be the ones going for the Lancero most of the time. I mean, there's guys that smoke smaller ring gauges because they want to get the overall effect of the wrapper, especially. And then you got guys that lean more towards 60 and 60 plus. That I mean, I see it. They understand that it's a greater value. My personal thing is I don't smoke anything really over a 56 at this point, except for 2 tapered 60s that Hoya makes, and that's the Pesadilla and the Grand Console. I haven't even had a Magnum 660 in about a year and a half. But I need to have something that I can get done in the amount of time between shops sometimes, because some shops are mixed use. If they're a convenience store and there's going to be kids in there, you can't walk in with that lit cigar. So if you're going into a lounge or something like that, of course you can kick back and light up for a little bit, pre-COVID, of course. But it's just, there's nothing else like it, really. I mean, I've never been a liquor rep, so I couldn't tell you what that's like, but people are happy to see you when you walk in the door, which is great. I mean, end of the month, the guy might be like, hey, listen, I'll give you a call on the 1st, but that's because of taxes. Basically, taxes are due every month in the States where they do have an excise tax. So if it's the 28th, and I understand, say, all right, cool, you know what? I see you're out of this, this, and this. Do you want me to throw that in now or hold to the 1st? And it happens. But, as far as that's concerned, I mean, there's just so many great things that have happened and a few bad things that have happened in the past 17 years. I mean, of course, S-chip had to be done. That was not a big deal. But the fact that that was a scare tactic of a $10 cap when they first started talking about it was a little bit ridiculous. It's like, you guys kind of speak in hyperbole. There's no reason to have something that high when prior to that, basically it was a 5-cent cap on state excise taxes to be sent at the time for what was previous to S-chips. So I don't want to get into the politics of that, but it's fine. If you're financing a children's healthcare program, that's all good. It was in a reasonable amount. It wasn't out of control. But I don't even know what the hell's going on there. I got a weird sound. Anyway, hopefully it's not any storm coming through because we've had enough of those. But yeah, I mean, it's just I kind of lost my train of thought there. My apologies, but it's not the bullet because there's only.
It was a deep question. It's okay. It's
yeah. So I mean, it's just there's
heavy, man.
There's so much good stuff that has happened. I mean, like I said, the camaraderie at events is the greatest part of it. Because I've been at events where you'll have one guy in the corner that just stops by to read the paper here and there and whatever, and I've had guys that end up asking me a question or two, like, hey, I see you're smoking this. I've tried this, this, and this. So yeah, well, this would probably be in your range, what you like. But if you want to branch out, try something like this or try something like that, whatever it might be. And then the next time I'm doing an event there, it happens to be maybe a Monday night or Thursday night football game, and those guys are there with 4 other friends. So it's just great to see people coming back all the time. I mean, like I said, I've got a relatively small territory compared to a lot of the people that work for us. I covered Delaware and Jersey, 2 of the smallest states in the union, and Staten Island. And I was pretty much getting around about every 5 weeks at that point. So it was great, but we're looking forward to getting back. So anyone who can do something about this, if you're scientifically inclined and know something that might work as a treatment, because we're not going to have a vaccine that fast. It's probably 3 or 4 years. So yeah, if there's any doctors or scientists listening right now and you guys are working on it, cheers to you. We appreciate your work. All the healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, orderlies in the hospitals, ambulance drivers, and paramedics, etc., firefighters, the cops, anyone who's had to help someone to get to the hospital because they decided that they were okay to go out to go shopping and they just had a little cough. Well, that thing might have progressed throughout the day, and then you had to be rushed to the hospital while you thought you were going to get another couple cases of beer and new turkey. It could have been anything.
Absolutely. And Kevin, again, are you based in New Jersey then? Where are you based?
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn originally, but I live in Union Beach, north end of the Jersey Shore. So I'm on the bay, not on the actual ocean.
Okay. And Matty, for you, same question. Years you've been doing this, what's been your favorite part of watching it grow?
Oh, absolutely. To earmark what K-Mac was saying is the camaraderie that you have with people, because sitting down and being contemplative over cigar with your buddies, and it's funny, if somebody started at the same time you did, you watch how everybody's palate's grown over the years, how it's changed. Your go-to stick that could have been something 15 years ago, just how different it is 15 years later. And you really enjoy the new people that are coming into the hobby side of it that, maybe, you look back finally like, hey, you know what? You're not ready for this yet, but this is what I started with. And you get to see what somebody else's palate is, and you get to see what they enjoy and what nuances and tastes and flavors they're getting. And it's cool. It's kind of like the passing the torch, knowledge-based kind of stuff. And like I said, it's a lot of fun. It brings people of all backgrounds together. The camaraderie of a cigar to me is just, it's amazing. That's why I'm blessed that it's still a hobby. I've been smoking since I'm 18 years, so almost 30 years of smoking cigars, and it's a hobby, man. I love it. I enjoy it. I learn something new every day. And again, palates always change. I might even, certain times you go and regress back to something. You're like, hey, you know what? I used to smoke so-and-so. I mean, K-Mac will laugh when I say this. I popped open another box of Chateau Real Maduros chilling. So, pop something that's 10, 12 years open, and you go, and you be like, you know what, man? I still really enjoy these sticks. So it's cool. It's something that you can be introspective and do on your own. sit back, think about stuff, think about life. It's great to do with your friends. It's great to do with new people, so you could share the passion. That's why for a reason we have BOTL and SOTL. Brother leaf and sister the leaf, and it really is a thing. Some people are like, man, that sounds awfully cheesy. I'm like, you know what? Once you're part of it, you're going to see it's not that cheesy.
Absolutely, and I agree. It's the camaraderie. It's fun. I love the exploration of flavor, but the way it brings people together. We always say, though I love a lot of different spirits, gins, rums, the way whiskey can bring people together reminds me a lot of how cigars can bring great people together. So it really is, and that's what we aim to do here every Saturday night on Bourbon Blanc Live, and we're so glad to have so many great people watching. Petey's today. That's a good shout out. In fact, Petey just asked me what I'm sipping. I'm doing a little bit of the Bullet with K-Mac there. Oh, there it is. And I've been trying a cocktail made with some, throw up a few of these, plantation rum, some of the Mayaca there. And also earlier was sipping a little of the Peerless, Peerless single barrel. So that's always fun to try these single barrels as well. Do you guys do anything? I think you probably do. We do these things in whiskey called single barrel releases, where it won't be a mixture of blends. It'll be one liquor store going in, or one bar will be going in and just getting a barrel of something specific that's a single barrel. Do you do some releases that are kind of singular off, like one-offs for retailers?
Yeah, there's been a few in the past, especially the subculture lines, but those aren't really one-shot deals. That's usually something that comes out once a year or a couple times a year. So it's a little bit different, but one single barrel that I really like is Blanton's personally.
The Blanton single barrel is so amazing.
Now, quick question, since the Kentucky Derby is eventually coming up here.
Yes.
What's your choice for a mint julep? What bourbon do you use for that?
Well, I would say, if somebody's making a mint julep, we have a little mint we grow in the garden here, which is nice. Grab some fresh mint or get some locally. The mint julep of choice in Kentucky is both the Old Forester and also Woodford, which they are the ones that are featured at the Kentucky Derby, and they both make an incredible mint julep. I've also had some mint juleps that have been made with some unaged whiskeys that I think are really interesting, or very young whiskeys that can be really interesting. So there can be some nice takes on a mint julep, but I would probably say Woodford. Go for a nice Woodford with your mint julep, and just try a new riff on it. Try putting kind of your own spin, maybe a different kind of bitters in it, maybe a different ingredient. But just the classic is always really refreshing and fun. And so we were going to do Derby in May. Now we're doing it in September. So we've been able to enjoy a mint julep a number of times the last several months, a little longer than we would typically, because we're going towards September to do our Derby coverage, and we always do that on Bourbon Blanc. This past week we had Master Distiller Chris Morris of Woodford Reserve talking about the $1,000 mint julep, which that's actually a special program that Woodford does, where they'll make a really nice mint julep with some very rare ingredients, and then all of those proceeds go to celebrate, or actually to support a jockey's fund, usually for like wounded horses or wounded jockeys, whatever it might be.
Cool. I wasn't aware. Cool.
Yeah. So those are fun. So we showcase that new mint julep. This year it has blackberries in it, which they change up the recipe every year. This year they're putting blackberries, which is the official fruit of Kentucky, which I didn't even know Kentucky had.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So
see, you learn a lot here, folks. You learn.
That's
$1,000 on one. Definitely make a mint julep at some point if you need a good reason to make one. And they can be a very nice pairing for a cigar as well. We always like lighting up a cigar to celebrate the start of Kentucky Derby right as the horses take off. So
I'll plan on sending you out something special there, brother.
I've only had a mint julep on Kentucky Derby Day twice, and both times were in Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
So one time someone was mixing drinks where they were barbecuing pretty much, and offered me one. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, and I, of course, had a couple cigars passed around, whatever. This was at a time we were allowed to pass things around. So, and then the next time was at an after party at the same spot. that basically was in someone's hotel room, but I don't recall whose it was. Don't recall who made the drink for me as well. But yeah, it wasn't that I was drinking too much. It's the damaged brain, man. Basically, I had a concussion after that accident back in 2002, and I keep my phone nearby to keep notes throughout the day to make sure that I've taken care of everything I need to take care of by 6, 7 p.m.
I feel like K-Mac has some really good stories. I appreciate you sharing a few.
We have not even gone past the tip of the iceberg, but we'll keep it a family show.
Scratch.
And yeah, well, no, basically, you know,
K-Mac after dark.
I've had a hell of a crazy life if you think about it. I mean, you know, booking bands when I was 17 to 21 and being in bands and then being a tour manager for bands and getting to live in arrested adolescence to the age of 30 and then ending really suddenly by getting hit by a truck. So
Oh, man.
it was really, really out there. So, I mean,
Wow.
17 years old, this is the longest job I've ever had, man. It's a great thing. I mean, as a tour manager, if you want to go back to the weekends in 91, I was really only doing it for about 11 years.
Wow.
So 17 dwarfs 11.
Amazing. Well, thank you for the 17 years. And here's to another 17 years for you, K-Mac, or
Salud.
however long you want to be doing it. And Matty Rock, Kevin McCormack, Drew Estate Cigars, great hanging with you guys tonight. And thank you, everyone who has watched. Again, this program is always up permanently wherever you're watching it, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. As always, like this, share this. So many great questions, so many great people watching us tonight. And we'll also put this audio of this up on our Bourbon Blog podcast channel. Subscribe to that. Gentlemen, great hanging with you all and great having a nice Liga Bravada with you all.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tom. I really
The best,
appreciate
guys.
it. Good night.
Much love to
Salud.
everybody. Everybody stay safe out there. And guys, any D-related questions for the shops in K-Mac's area, please reach out to Kay. Guys, anybody who's looking to get that extra knowledge or a tasting, please reach out to Tom. Any questions you have for me, just reach out. Let me know. I'll do my best to answer them or get them answered for you.
And to paraphrase
Cheers,
Mike D, if you're drinking, don't drive. If you're driving, don't drink until you get home.
That's right.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
It's
All
safe,
right.
guys.
Much love to
Thank
you
you.
and stay safe
Much
out
love.
there.
Cheers.